Now we'll get into my top 10. Now, first, please feel free, this is my list, so you don't have to agree, because I guarantee some people are going to be pissed, especially at number 10. So, number 10 for me is My Mom's a Werewolf, which is on this excellent 80s pack. Yep. A goofy horror comedy that was released at the tail end of the 1980s, starring Susan Blakely and John Saxon. It's a film that I grew up with. I caught it on TV. I always had memories of it, and then I really never remembered what the title was until I found it again recently, figured out what it was, watched the whole thing, had fun with it. Watched it again last night. I still have fun with it. I think Susan Blakely does a good job. She's she has a good personality. She's a MILF. I think the supporting cast does a good job as well. You have one of the girls is actually one of the actresses who I think is in the Friday the 13th series, but I cannot remember her name at the moment. Because I've seen the movie like numerous times. I've seen it probably about 5 times total. But I can't really remember the cast all that well. And I'm trying to get my internet to pop up the internet so I can... Come on, IMDb. Let's go. Fucking slow ass piece of shit. Come on now. Okay, alright. I think it's Tina Casberry. No, the film's directed by Michael Fisher. And like I said, it stars Susan Blakely as the mom, John Saxon as the werewolf who bites her and causes her to change. John Saxon is his werewolf is a little bit more kind of more like a vampire than a werewolf. I thought it was interesting because he was able to hypnotize people. But John Saxon I think is great in almost everything he's in, so I thought he was good in this. Tina Casberry plays Jennifer. Diana Barrows, Stacy, who's her best friend, Tina's best friend. I guess she was in a Friday the 13th film, and she's really obsessed with horror movies, and I just thought it was a nice, fun love letter to horror fans. There's like references to Fangoria, the Famous Monsters magazine. They go to a horror science fiction convention in one scene. They're using magazines for rules for werewolves, and it's just a short flick. It's not particularly super hilarious, but neither is Teen Wolf. It really, I just have a soft spot for it. I wouldn't say a guilty pleasure. I have a soft spot for the film. I know it has problems. Some of the jokes don't work, but I enjoyed it. I thought it had a little bit of an edge to it. I thought it was fun. And I thought, for a low-budget movie, it was pretty entertaining. So, yeah, that's number 10 on my list. My Mom's a Werewolf. You actually will see cameos. Now, not really cameo. Well, there is a cameo. I mean, Victoria Jackson is in this from SNL. It's like a really short, quick cameo at the end of the film. And it's directed by Michael Fisher, and it's written by Mark Pirro. And so, since he wrote Primeval, Death or a Game Show, posters of those movies show up throughout the whole movie. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on My Mom's a Werewolf. I really enjoy that one. Next on my list is number 9, The Company of the Wolves. This is actually a custom DVD I made. Well, I didn't make the cover art, I just printed it off, but I made a custom one because I just thought it was cheaper. Save money that way. And I've seen this a couple times, and both times I've seen it, I've been really impressed with the film. Very impressive visuals, really good special effects. A nice, different take on the Little Red Riding Hood story. I would definitely recommend Company of the Wolves. I really enjoyed this one by Neil Jordan. This was very creepy, very strange, very surreal film. So that's The Company of the Wolves. That's number 9. Number 8 on my list is Full Eclipse with Mario Van Peebles. Directed by Anthony Hickox. Good idea. Kind of not necessarily the best execution in some points, but the idea sells the film. It's got some good action in it, and I enjoy it. Full Eclipse despite its problems. But yeah, you can definitely tell it's a TV movie. But it was definitely one of the better TV movies out there, though, and still one of my favorite werewolf films. So that's Full Eclipse. It's number 8 on my list. Number 7 on my list is Teen Wolf. I grew up with this film. I have a lot of fun with it. I think it has an irresistible charm to it, mainly probably because of Michael J. Fox. I know there's a lot of people out there. I know my good friend Matt hates this movie, and that's cool. That's fine. Hate on, bro. That's fine. That's cool. I can see definitely why a lot of werewolf purists don't like the movie, because, yeah, there are a lot of things in it that aren't necessarily that great. It's not particularly super funny, and the werewolf makeup isn't the best looking, but I have fun with the film. I always have had fun with Teen Wolf. So that's number 7. Number 6 on my list is Silver Bullet, Stephen King's Silver Bullet, another DVD I just made. So for the first time, actually, recently, I enjoyed it a lot. I think Corey Haim did a really good job in the lead. Everett McGill played a good evil werewolf bad guy. Gary Busey was a good supporting cast. Was good as the supporting cast member, as Uncle Red, and I thought decent special effects by Carl Lambaldi. Definitely different looking werewolf, and yeah, definitely one of the better Stephen King films. It was based on a short novella that he did, so there was a lot of room for expansion, so to speak, on the story. So yeah, I like Silver Bullet. Good soundtrack too by Jade Chataway. So that's number 6. Number 5 on my list is Ginger Snaps. I know a lot of people. I know this one. There's a lot of people who love this film, and it's a little bit divided with some people. Some people don't like it. Some people love it. I really enjoy Ginger Snaps. I thought it was a really original, inventive film. I thought it had a really good, different take on the werewolf idea. It kind of took some of the elements Teen Wolf had with a teenage werewolf, but actually made it so people were actually freaked out by the person. But yeah, not a little bit, because, well, she's kind of a goth anyway, so I guess they just thought she was weird. Yeah, the girls are definitely dark. They're not necessarily the most likable characters. But I thought that added some interesting I thought it added an interesting dynamic to the film. Because you had these two, dark, brooding, gothic girls as the leads instead of the typical cliche girly girls. And I just thought the directing was good. I thought the cinematography was excellent at points. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Ginger Snaps. So that's number 5 on my list. Number 4 is The Howling. The Howling is probably, I'd say it's the second best werewolf film that was released in the year of 1981. Definitely better than that piece of shit Wolfen. Great effects by Rob Bottin. Solid direction by Joe Dante. Based on a subpar okay book by Gary Bradner. I think the movie's a lot better. Nice to see Robert Picardo in an earlier role as basically as the serial killer werewolf, which is kind of funny when you see him in this and then you see him in later stuff like Star Trek Voyager. It's kind of hard to see him in this, but he pulls it off though. Yeah, good screenplay, solid, good sense of humor, nice little mentions of other werewolf movies, and yeah, I enjoy The Howling, but I don't like the ending. The reason why it's not higher on my list is because I think the ending is terrible. Because I like the performances. I mean, I really do like Dee Wallace in the lead, and Christopher Stone did a good job as well, who was her husband at the time. And like I said, the direction is good. The score by Pino Donaggio is solid as well. But I hate that ending. Werepoodle just doesn't do it for me. Werepoodle is fucking lame. So yeah. But Werepoodle aside, I still enjoy The Howling. It's definitely, without a doubt, the best of the Howling movies. And there's like 8 of them. So that's The Howling. That's number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list of best werewolf films is Bad Moon. This is a movie I used to just think was total piece of shit for some reason. So I watched the TV version, watched the unedited version for the first time, really enjoyed it. Great direction by Eric Red, solid, fast, quick-paced, an hour and 20-minute long really fun creature feature. Just a really great blast with a good dynamic of dog versus werewolf. And good performances too. But Michael Pare, one of my favorite actors, and Meryl Hemingway did a good job as well, and a great looking wolf. Great looking werewolf. Good effects by Steve Johnson. Now, they had, like my friend Matt was saying about the film, yeah, at some points, yeah, the werewolf looks a little mechanical with his movements. But other than that, there's other moments, though, where it's just downright fantastic looking. So, yeah, Bad Moon, yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula font aside, still really enjoyed this one. I think it's definitely an underrated one. So that's number 3. Number 2 on my list of favorite werewolf films is Dog Soldiers. Yeah, I made my own DVD recently because I'm not going to put up with that bullshit cover art. You think I'm going to make that cover art? Fuck that shit. No. Dog Soldiers is kick-ass. I think it's awesome. Great take on the werewolf genre. Combines aliens with werewolves. Great action. It's basically an action horror film. And it's exciting. It's thrilling. It's fun. It's imaginative. Yeah, there's some of the techniques, the camera techniques. Yeah, the camera sped up a little bit. You know, could have cut that out a little bit, but I think it adds to it more than it detracts from the film. And overall, yeah, I definitely see why people really enjoy Dog Soldiers. I just thought it was really good. Good special effects, good action. Yeah, so that's number 2. Good directing by Neil Marshall. Yeah, so that's Dog Soldiers. That's number 2 on my list. Now we get to number 1. It's probably no surprise to a lot of people who are familiar with me and typically familiar with my taste in werewolf films, An American Werewolf in London. This has always been my favorite werewolf film. This is the film that got me involved into seeing basically got me obsessed with makeup special effects, but how these artists, were able to create these creatures and how they were able to do these wonderful, fantastic, amazing illusions for the cinematic screen. And American Werewolf in London is the film that really started that for me, along with The Howling. And just the effects in this by Rick Baker are still phenomenal. They're still spectacular. They still hold up really well. I still think this is, in my opinion, it's my favorite John Landis film. I like Blues Brothers, I like Animal House, but this is still my favorite John Landis movie. It's definitely David Naughton's finest hour. And I just think it's an excellent film. I think it's a great mix and probably one of the best mixes of horror and comedy out there. It also has a good amount of drama and also believable romance. I just think it's everything you could ask for in a film and then some, at least for me. And I think it's held up remarkably well over the years. And yeah, so yeah, I really enjoy American Werewolf in London. So that's definitely my number 1 favorite werewolf movie, is American Werewolf in London. Now, but yeah, that's my take on my favorite werewolf movies.